Now let's actually dig inside the box and take a look at what makes a moving light tick. So essentially, a moving light has got a lamp in the back, which we'll talk about in a little more detail. But then it uses motors to spin discs that have different optical components into the path of the light, right? So by using gears and pulleys and sensors and electronics and cooling fans, it will move different optical components into the path of light or remove them from the path of light. Additionally, then it'll move the lenses back and forth so that it can focus, and then apply special effects at the very front before the light goes out of the front lens. Now, let's just do a couple of words on moving light lamps. Traditionally, moving lights use an arc source lamp. It's not an incandescent light. Like for a stage light, we can simply regulate the power to it, and therefore we could dim it from 0 to full. An arc source light develops an arc between these two electrodes, and once that arc is ignited, we can't turn it off, right? And we can't dim it, right? So they don't dim, and we can turn it off, but once we turn it off, it's just off, and it could be off for a while. Now, the reason we use these arc source lights is they could be 5 to 8 times brighter than an incandescent light for the same amount of power. The lamp that's shown here is also a 575 watt lamp, just like a Source 4, but generates 7 times more light because it's got a little lightning bolt basically in here. Now, here's the other thing, is since it's so bright and it's got a little contained lightning bolt in here, they get very hot. And they need a lot of cooling fans in order to blow air over this lamp while it's on. And now remember, it never goes off. So I have this relatively small box full of electronics and motors and wires with a super hot lamp that never goes off. What could possibly go wrong? The fans that keep all of this cool are very noisy. When you think about moving lights, you may be at a concert, and at a concert it doesn't matter. But if we're in a quiet, small, intimate theater, moving lights can be horrendously noisy. Even though their components move relatively quietly, all of the fans that keep this thing cool can be really loud. Very, very loud. The thing about a moving light too is after you turn this lamp off, when you're done using it for the day or the night, you need to let those fans run for a little while so that the lamp and all the electronics have a chance to cool down. And you don't want to turn off the lamp until you're really done. If you're taking a little break, 5-minute break, even up to an hour, you want to just leave this lamp on. Turning it off and then restriking it, and then turning it off and restriking it is very hard on the lamp. It'll make it die much more quickly, and restriking a lamp is sometimes difficult if it's already hot. And these lamps are very expensive. Lamps for moving lights can be several $100s per lamp, and they don't last very long. 500, maybe 700 hours, and then that needs replaced. And you have to realize that 500 or 700 hours is that light being on the whole time that you're using it. It never dims out and gets to take a break. So how do we dim these things then if this light never goes out? I spoke about the mechanical motion that moves things in front of the optical path. And in order to dim a moving light, we actually move these metal flags. They close in front of the aperture where the light is, and you can see them closed here. And these motors, the motor here and a motor here, connected to these blades, rotate this blade and this blade together until they close off the optical path and the fixture appears to dim out even though its lamp is still on. In other moving lights, they have optical flags that are shaped in this zigzag shape, right? That it, in theory, makes the dimming out smoother. Moving lights are not known for their beautiful fades, but they will fade. But this is just a different kind, and this is one flag on this side and one flag on this side. Here's the motor attachment for this flag. Here is the motor attachment for this flag, and it just arcs in to close, and it arcs in to close. These also provide the ability to strobe, right? So these flags all can open and close probably at least 15 times a second, and probably more like 20 times a second, which allows the fixture to look like it's strobing. It can blink on and blink off 20 times a second. I think that that's really pretty fast for these mechanical flags to open and close at 20 times a second. That seems like a lot. So that's a quick little overview of moving lights and their lamps and how we dim them.